Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Dutchy, and in today's video I'm going to be sitting down and answering all of your sex education questions. Some of the questions that I get asked most frequently revolve around sex, around your first time, pain, no pain positions, fingering or giving head, all those sorts of things. In the Australian schooling system, I know that if you are lucky enough to receive any sexual education at all, it is very vanilla, it is very heterosexual, and it is just very like penis in vagina, penetration, pop a condom on, that's it. And sex education is so important, and we just don't learn it, especially not in school. And also opening up the conversation about sex and making people comfortable and open and able to speak with their friends or family members or whomever about it and be able to ask questions, because that is super important as well. And also to move away from the rhetoric that sex is and must be penetration, because it is not. Sex is not just penis in vagina. Penetration does not equal sex. Penetration is a part of sex, yes, definitely, but it is not the be all and end all. First question and most popular question I receive by far in regards to sex is, does the first time hurt? Okay, I want to answer this for once and for all, okay? And that's why I'm putting it first as well. Your first time should not hurt. Sex, in fact, sex should never hurt. And I'm going to be doing a podcast episode on that with a life colored Amber. She's on Instagram. She does counseling, she does sex talks, she does all those sorts of things. So we're going to be answering that question a lot more in depth in terms of why sex can hurt and when sex hurts, what to do. Because there are actual conditions where, yes, sex does hurt, or it makes sex or penetration somewhat impossible. So if you want me to do a video on that as well, or you would like me to post that podcast episode on here, let me know in the comments. In an ideal world, no, sex should not hurt. Your first time should not hurt. Will it be a little bit uncomfortable perhaps? Yes, it can be, but there's a difference between discomfort and pain. So no, it shouldn't hurt. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, especially because when, as women, for example, if we are not 100% aroused, 100% relaxed, all of those sorts of things, you need to be so relaxed and so into it and just like trusting of that other person to have a good time. And your first time, even if it is with someone that you really trust and love and all those sorts of things, it can still, because it's your first time, it's still a bit nerve-wracking, right? You've not done it before. You've got all these worries and concerns like, am I doing it right? Is this good? Is this how it's meant to be? And it's really hard to let go of a lot of those thoughts and feelings. Then the more and more you have sex, the more you get used to that feeling and letting go and sort of, I guess, surrendering to the feelings and emotion and pleasure. You get more and more used to doing that. So yeah, your first couple of times, you can really find it difficult to relax, and it can be a little bit uncomfortable, I suppose. But in saying that, some people have a first time and don't feel that at all. I know my first time, my proper first time, pain-free, discomfort-free. But I understand that it's not the same for everyone. To avoid as much discomfort as possible, just be super relaxed, take it nice and slow, don't have an end goal in mind, and yeah, do it with someone that you trust. Know that if you both want to stop at any time, you absolutely can, and have a chat about all of this beforehand, because that's going to make you a lot more relaxed and comfortable as well. But yeah. Also, I should say before I start answering these questions, take all of my responses with a grain of salt. I am not a sexual expert or professional. This is just from personal experience, from talking to friends, family, and experts. But I am in no way, shape, or form a sexpert, so don't quote me on any of this, but doing my best to answer your questions. Okay, this one here. Does scissoring actually feel good? Okay, yes. Yes, it does, with the right person. And yeah, I think there's a lot of stereotypes around lesbians or just like girl on girl being scissoring, and then that's the whole thing, where it's not. It's absolutely not. Is it part of it? Yes. Is it just like another sexual act that you do? Also, yes. I enjoy it, but that doesn't mean that you will, and that doesn't mean that your neighbor will, or like whoever else is scissoring. I'm sure, like many other positions or many other sexual acts, some things just aren't for you, just ain't it for you. But in my personal opinion, yeah, that's good. Okay, I love questions like this. How do I feel more comfortable talking about sex? My best friend wants to talk about it, but it feels awkward. That is fantastic that your best friend wants to talk about it. If you have the will there and the drive to want to talk about it too, but you just feel a little bit uncomfortable, that is fine. For some reason, sex and the speak of being intimate and like all of those acts is very taboo in society. As a generation, we can try and decrease that taboo-ness and every like stigma, I guess, around talking about sex. But if your friend wants to, that's great because it's already like your best friend. So you're already comfortable with that person. Probably the best person to talk about. My housemates and I talk about sex all the time and it's so open. Just take it one step at a time. Start slow, bring up whatever you like, or if it sounds like she wants to talk about it, just let her start. She can do most of the talking, really. If you do feel uncomfortable, you can just like nod, agree, disagree, whatever it is. You don't have to put in that much input if you're not comfortable doing so. But trust me, the more and more you talk about sex with someone, like a friend or a family member or whatever, it just gets easier. Okay, lots of specific questions about like how to go down on a girl, how to be more confident in bed, how to finger a girl. Okay, there's lots of specific stuff. And trust me, I'm gonna go ahead and answer every single one of those questions. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of actual acts, I wanted to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Beducated. I absolutely love working with Beducated because they are very LGBTQIA+ inclusive. Beducated is basically the Netflix of sexual wellness, and I mean it. Beducated is an online learning platform that has heaps of different video, audio, and written guides to spice up your sex life. I know I spoke about it briefly before, but let's face it, the sex education system in Australia, in America especially, some of you have DM'd me or like commented on videos before and said you did not get sex education, like at all, zip. That's where Beducated comes in. Beducated is quite literally your one-stop shop for all things sex, intimacy, consent. The list goes on. It is your guide to sex, full stop. Now, when I say Beducated has everything, I mean it has a course on everything. So these are just a few of my faves that I picked up. Consent, online dating, hookups, masturbation, orgasms, kissing, sexualities, penetration, BDSM, dirty talk, porn, positions, and so much more. Like, that is like all the good stuff, and there is more. More importantly, they have like consent, and they have stuff on sexuality. They have a course on teaching you about sexuality. Our education system could never. Something else that I love is it is tasteful. It is so much more tasteful than porn, and it's obviously educational, and it's just chef's kiss. Beducated also has courses specifically designed for couples. Because, okay, the fact of the matter is, in any relationship, in any course of any relationship, there are always going to be places where your libido differs, right? So you're not always horny at the same time, or one's more horny than the other, and you just can't seem to align it. There's relationships and sex, it really ebbs and flows. There's time when you're having less sex, when you're having more sex, when you're having boring sex, when you're having amazing sex. Lots of couples go through a general lack of intimacy. It happens, it's normal. Beducated has your back, and it believes that sexual happiness is not only trainable, but also achievable for singles and couples alike. So as I mentioned previously, there are a few courses on there specifically designed for couples. One of my favorite courses on there is called the Intimate Touch course, which includes masturbation info, so learning about yourself, your triggers, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And I seriously learned different techniques that I didn't even know I liked, or my body liked and responded to. It was amazing. And also how to map your partner's genitals. Now, that might sound a bit funny, but it goes through the anatomy of a male pelvis and a female pelvis, and it really goes into detail of where all the erogenous zones are, where all the nerve endings are, what feels good, where. And like, it's just a way more intricate way of seeing what your partner may or may not like. And obviously it's not going to be the same for everyone, but I think it really spices things up, and it makes you want to try new things and in different ways and all those sorts of things. So that's what I really loved about that course. I think, yeah, the thing I like most about it is that you learn so much more about anatomy. even about yourself. So about your partner and about yourself, and those things together are going to make sex so good. Honestly, if you're sitting there and you are really intrigued and by like any of the courses that I mentioned, or you're in a partnership and you'd want to spice things up a bit, or not even, it might not even be dull, but you just want to like learn more. There is always more to learn where sex is concerned, and Beducated is, seriously, I've said it once, I'll say it again, it is the one-stop shop for it. It is just amazing. I would personally 100% recommend Beducated to anyone watching this video, because you can learn about sex education from the comfort of your own bedroom. The comfort of your own bed, when's that ever gonna happen again? Not in a classroom with all your awkward peers around you and the teacher up the front being like, this is how you put a condom on. No, I can guarantee you'll literally have no questions left unanswered. So if you're sitting there and you would like to try out every single course on Beducated for free, this is your lucky day. If you click the link in my description box, that will give you access to 24 hours of free content. You can try all of the course material for absolutely nothing. Free sex education, we love that. Then if you do go through with the free trial and you love it so much and you'd like to keep it for a little while, I have got a 70% off discount code for you. So if you use the code DUTCHY, you will get 70% off a yearly membership forever. So it doesn't just last for a year or 2 years, that is infinite, forever. So yeah, be sure to click the link in my description if you would like to check out the 24-hour free trial. And if you take up the yearly subscription, use code DUTCHY for 70% off. Now let's get back to the question. Do you have to get fitted for the right strap-on? That is a really good question. You don't have to, but if you are more comfortable doing so, if you go to like a sex toy shop, you can get fitted. You can ask to get fitted. They can show you how to put it on, some beginner positions to use, because obviously it takes a while to get used to like that extra weight down there. So yeah, either way, if you feel more comfortable doing that and you're going to feel more confident using a strap-on, if you've been sort of shown how to fit it properly and all of that, you can. Or there are also some videos on YouTube, like if you decide to order it or whatever and it comes through the mail, you can also watch some creators' videos on YouTube on how to put it on and all those sorts of things. Is protection needed to finger someone? This depends on the individual. You can like use gloves, you could even use a dental dam to finger someone, or you can just take really good care and really wash your hands, cut your nails, all those sorts of things, and just have really good hand hygiene. But if you're more comfortable using protection, or the person that you are fingering is more comfortable with you using protection, you can also do that. Okay, another really popular question is how to go down on a girl. All right, let's get it. First things first, I presume you've already been sort of like making out, going really slow. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind when going down on a girl is to make her super duper comfortable first. There is nothing worse, and this is from my experience as well, but there is nothing worse than someone going down on you, rushing things and doing it. I am being very open and transparent. I, for one, do not feel comfortable just like kissing someone for 2 seconds and then them just going straight down. I am not ready. I am not relaxed enough. Hello, I need to get out of this anxious head of mine. So I think the best thing to keep in mind when going down on a girl is warm up her entire body first. So whether that's kissing, touching, and it doesn't even have to be like sexual touching, any touching, warming up the whole body when you're having sex with someone or being intimate with someone is so important. You don't just have to touch erogenous zones, like just everywhere. Take it really slow, you know, have those candles, that music, whatever it is, like make it a really comfortable environment to be in, and take it slow. Have fun with it. You don't have to dive straight down there. So yeah, kissing, all that sort of thing, and then slowly make your way down. Now, when you actually get there, kiss around the area. You don't have to go straight in, like, you know, just kiss around the area, thighs, like inner thighs. You can use your hands as well, like just rubbing, doing whatever it is you do, teasing if she wants that, all those sorts of things. And then slowly, yeah, start to kiss around the area. just making sure you don't just like focus on one area. And then obviously you can see how she's reacting to those sorts of things, how she's moving her body, is she saying things, is she moaning, is she not. It's always good to just check in with your partner as well and see how they're doing, or see if there's anything they want. There is nothing more sexy than someone asking you whether that feels good, or if there's something else that they can do or they want you to do. Like, that is hot. Pro tip. But yeah, so just kissing, and then you can start using your tongue. And honestly, there's no one right way to do it. There are obviously different methods and things you can do, and I'm not going to dive into all of those unless you want me to in another video perhaps. But there are different ways to do it. Just have fun, lick different areas, sucking on the labia, outer and inner. You can use your hand, using your fingers and hands and whatever at the same time. Big one. I mean, again, not everyone likes it. So it's really important to communicate and have your partner communicate their wants and needs as well. If they like something or if they don't like something, all of that. But all of that sort of comes naturally while you're doing it as well. But yeah, you don't be afraid to use your fingers at the same time. And yeah, just sort of go from there. Hope this helps. How to be more confident in bed. I'm telling you, I know this video is sponsored by Beducated, but I would say this even if it wasn't. Beducated. Beducated will make you more confident in bed. I guarantee it. Even without Beducated, I guess just learning what your partner wants. I'm always way more confident if I know what I'm doing with my partner makes them feel good. And the only way to know that is through practice and through communication. And through them, yeah, like telling you and doing it and learning new things and seeing what does and doesn't feel good. So I guess practice helps you feel more confident. In terms of yourself, masturbation, knowing what feels good for you, and being able, something that makes me feel really confident is being able to tell my partner what I want or where I want it. I think that's hot, and I think that makes you appear a lot more confident as well. So yeah, and yeah, just practice communication and knowing what you like and being certain of what your partner likes and how they like it. Then you will look like, then you'll be a confident queen in bed. Does sex help with period cramps? Why, yes, apparently it does. I'm not going to go into the full psychological, biological side of that, but I think it does. In my experience, it has. I think sex can also bring on a period if it's due, like if it's around that time, and like orgasming can do. And I think the same, I think it can also relieve cramps, even just for a little while. Yes, I believe so. But don't take my word for it. How do girls have a threesome? Literally the same as anyone else having a threesome. It's just 3 parties that are all having a good fun time doing sexual things together. I think a lot of people, like, there's this mentality that there has to be a male counterpart to a threesome, which is so not true. Definitely not true. But yeah, it's just the same as like 2 girls and a guy, and often in a threesome with 2 girls and a guy, the girls do stuff and a guy's watching, or a girl and a guy do stuff, or 2 girls on the guy, or 3 guys, or like whatever it is no different to how any other threesome would work. 3 people having a good time. I get this question a lot too. No one ever talks about this. How do gays, women loving women, have sex? And again, I know I mentioned it earlier, but it's moving away from this whole notion that sex has to be penetration, that it has to be penis and vagina. It is so not it. So not it. If I could rewrite the definition of sex myself, I would. But yeah, just different acts of intimacy. That's how, whoa. What is this? That is how anyone has sex. It's just like sexual acts and intimacy shared between by 1, 2, or 3 or more parties. That is how people have sex. And like being sex can be anything from kissing to touching to actual acts to caressing to oral to anal to, like, you know, like the list goes on. There are so many things, and so many people define sex in different ways. And have, you know, all those things. So it sounds weird, but do you need to use lube for women loving women's sex? Yeah, anyone can use lube. It doesn't have to be a particular person or people. If lube makes sex more pleasurable for someone, then yes, of course, it is perfectly okay and should be normalized. I think, again, there's a whole thing around women having wet-ass pussies. And the fact of the matter is, that's not the case for everyone. Even if you're really turned on and aroused, some women don't produce as much vaginal fluid and like wetness, lubrication as other women. There are so many things that go into that. Stress, anxiety, hormonal fluctuations, being on the pill, not being on the pill. I feel like I should probably do I should definitely do a podcast episode on that, and maybe even a video, because I am learning a lot about that recently. I came off the pill like 6 months ago, nearly, and I knew something was up with my hormones for a lot of factors. I knew something was wrong with my body, and there was. My hormones were fluctuating. I have learned so much from sex experts around me, from health experts and doctors and so many people. There is so much that goes into it, and I think lube is something that we don't speak about much. And yeah, lube should be a staple. Like, really, everyone should have some lube. And for some people, it can make it a lot more pleasurable. So yeah, there is nothing stopping two women from using lube, especially with like sex toys and things as well. It's really, really good to have lube on hand for that sort of thing. The last question I have here is, what is meant when people say butt stuff? Love you. Love you too. So butt stuff is just anal play. So it's anything to do with the anus, just like fingering, touching, licking, kissing, anything that is pleasurable with your bum, anus, an anal passage. That is butt stuff. So, I hope you all enjoyed today's sex education lesson. Thanks again to Beducated for sponsoring this video. Definitely be sure to go and click the link in my description box if you would like a free 24 hours of a Beducated subscription. Like, literally go and check out everything on there. I promise you won't regret it. And yeah, if you want 70% off, use code DUTCHY. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye!